Hello, unfortunately my family isn't here at the moment, so I'm not able to have a live audience, but the quote I chose for today is that common sense is very uncommon. I chose this quote because I've known it for a long time. I actually, back in my senior year, I put it as my quote in a yearbook, and it's something that my mom would say very often when talking about the frustrations of her workplace. So, the definition of common sense is a form of intelligence that you learn throughout your whole life. It allows people to have a good sense of judgment and overall basic logic. The word common itself makes it seem that it's something you see very often and you hear it very often, which is not true because if you really think about it, not a lot of people think and say or their actions with they don't intend to do it with logic or judgment. Plus, I think that logic and judgment is defined differently for every single person. Even the smartest person can lack a good judgment in a situation. Today I'm gonna give you guys today I'm giving you examples on how common sense is not common throughout history and even current events that are happening today. So let's get started. A lack of better judgment has led to so many catastrophic events, to the Trojan War, to World War II, when Nazi Germany wanted to eliminate all Jewish people, having them killed by mass shootings, gas chambers, and having them work in forced labor camps. So going back to how common sense is very common, like something you're born with. If a human being is born with a sense of right and wrong, Adolf Hitler obviously wasn't one of those who was without common sense. He had no common sense and no better judgment at all, seeing as he did all these horrific acts. So it just acknowledges the fact that the quote I chose is right. As for current events that are happening now, we're seeing an ongoing genocide happen with the Palestinian people. The ongoing occupation in Israel has two sides: the people who see that it is wrong and the people who are justifying Israel's war cries and killing 50,000 civilian Palestinian people since October of 2023. Those who support, I believe, have no sense of good judgment. And since they see nothing wrong with the murder of innocent civilians for land and money, there's a big lack of common sense in those people. So we've seen throughout history, and we see now, that a lack of poor judgment has led to the fall of cities, people, and culture. It's honestly really sad, and it just gives us more tragic stories to read about in history and to live now. We see stuff happening in the news and social media, and we're just becoming more desensitized to it, which is not okay. This doesn't mean that you should be diminishing the people who don't have common sense. That's not something. You shouldn't put another person down just because they lack common sense. If you have the ability to you enlighten these people with what you've learned. The people who are around you, you try to enlighten them. And since common sense is very uncommon, so we must pause and remember that not everybody makes their decisions and actions based on critical and logical decisions. Most of the time, we see, even now, even in history, that people make their decisions based on emotion and impulse. So, uncommon sense is becoming very common. So we must change our ways to pursue in helping others change theirs. Thank you.